Hello sports fans, it is Wednesday, September the 25th, year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Before we get to our weekly college football picks, let's go through the baseball from last night as we are heading down the home stretch in the baseball season. Tampa Bay put the Yankees out of their misery. They just buried the Yankees last night at Yankee Stadium, 7-0. Yankees look like a dead carcass. They are finished. Nice win by Tampa Bay. Texas beat Houston last night. Beltre with a big home run. Houston can't beat anyone. They're the worst team in baseball. They are not playing spoiler here at all. I mean, how many games in a row has Houston lost? They got swept by Cleveland. They're losing to Texas. Houston can't beat anyone. Cleveland, tremendous win last night over the Chicago White Sox. Cleveland is up 1 run in the 9th inning against the White Sox. Cleveland's closer gives up 2 home runs in the 9th, gets booed off the mound. And what does Cleveland do in the bottom of the 9th? 2 outs, 1 man on. Jason Giambi comes up and hits a pinch hit 2-run game-winning home run for the Indians. What a tremendous win by the Indians. Great home run by Jason Giambi. Jason Giambi is a very important part of that Indian ball club. Terry Francona talks about it all the time. Jason Giambi has really found a niche as a pinch hitter, so tremendous job by him. Great win by the Indians. Also last night, Seattle beat Kansas City. Kansas City all but gone as well. Yankees, Kansas City, and Baltimore are finished. This is a 3-team race for the wild card for 2 spots. Right now, Tampa Bay has the first wild card spot. Cleveland is in the second wild card spot, and Texas is only 1 game behind. As far as the National League last night, Cincinnati lost, Pittsburgh won, St. Louis won. How about Waka, the rookie pitcher for St. Louis, came within 1 out of getting a no-hitter. Zimmerman gets the infield hit to break it up. How about Al Leiter from Major League Baseball Network said it should have been an error? Al, are you crazy? First of all, it tipped off the pitcher's glove, and the shortstop tried to barehand it and throw to first base. That's an error? Come on, Al. I mean, come on, you're better than that. So anyway, St. Louis still holding on to the division lead. Pittsburgh has that first wild card spot. Cincinnati comfortably in the second wild card spot. Washington is done. So we'll keep an eye on the baseball the rest of the way. Only a few games to go. And remember, Boston and Oakland are fighting for best record in the American League. Atlanta, St. Louis battling for best record in the National League. Still a lot of stuff to be decided in baseball coming up. All right, without further ado, let's go to our college football picks. And I have been on pretty much fire all year with my college football picks. Now, last week I was 4-4. That's 500. That's not great. But overall, I am 17-7 against the spreads. That's pretty good. 5-0 in week 1, 4-1 in week 2, 4-2 in week 3, and 4-4 last week. 17-7 against the spreads the first 4 weeks in college football. Pretty good picking by me, I have to say. All right, without further ado, let's go to my picks for the week for college football. Let's start in Hawaii, where Fresno State is -18 over Hawaii on the island in Hawaii. It used to be a tough trip to go to Hawaii. It used to be a snake pit to play there. Teams have figured out how to play Hawaii now. Hawaii is not as good. Teams don't get distracted going to Hawaii anymore. You know, they don't lounge around on the beach and then go play football. They treat it more as a business trip now. Couple that with Hawaii is not as strong as they used to be. I think Fresno State blows out Hawaii here. The Fresno State offense gives everyone trouble. Fresno State should put up about 50 points in this game. I see Fresno State running away with this game. I see them winning about 56-28. Carr, the quarterback for Fresno State, a dark horse for the Heisman Trophy, and Fresno State with their schedule has a chance to go undefeated. So I like Fresno State -18 over Hawaii out in the island of Hawaii. Let's go to South Florida, Tampa to be exact, where the Miami Hurricanes are -18 over South Florida. They will play this game where the Buccaneers play at Raymond James Stadium. How is the spread only 18? South Florida got blown out by McNeese State. Miami should win this game by 100 points. I mean, I know the quarterback for Miami is questionable. They could play their 3rd string and win this game by about 50 points. I see Miami just routing South Florida here, so I like the Miami Hurricanes -18 over South Florida. I don't give South Florida a chance. Like I said, South Florida lost to McNeese State by a lot. They're going to get bombed by Miami, so I like Miami -18 over South Florida. Let's go out to Arizona. Arizona State is -6.5 over USC. Remember, Arizona State got drubbed by Stanford last week. This is not a good USC team. Their quarterback play is bad. Their offensive line is bad. They can't score. They lost 10-7 at home to Washington State. What does that tell you? Arizona State at home is very good. Their offense is very good. I see Arizona State winning this game about 31-17. I love Arizona State this week. Do not like USC. I think Kiffin is on the hot seat. I'd be surprised if he made it past this year. I like Arizona State -6.5 against USC out in Arizona State. Let's go to Arkansas, where Texas A&M is -3 over Arkansas. Arkansas had a awful loss to Rutgers last week, where they were in total control of that game in the fourth quarter, blew the game to Rutgers. Now they come home to play Texas A&M. The spread's only 3. Texas A&M's offense is too much for Arkansas. I know Arkansas is a traditional good home team. They have great fans in Fayetteville. I don't put that past them. Texas A&M's too strong here. Too much offense for A&M. I think A&M rolls in this game. I see A&M blowing out Arkansas down in Fayetteville. Let's go to West Virginia, where Oklahoma State is -21 over West Virginia. This is not a vintage West Virginia team. They got drubbed by Maryland last week, 37-0. West Virginia coach in all kinds of problems, in all kinds of trouble, I should say. I think Oklahoma State blows out West Virginia. Oklahoma State's offense gives everyone trouble. I think Oklahoma State lays it on West Virginia this week and just blows them out. Let's go to Washington, where Washington is -8 over Arizona. Both of these teams are undefeated. Arizona hasn't played anyone so far this year. Washington had a big win against Boise, and then they went on the road and beat Illinois. Remember, they redid Husky Stadium. It is a snake pit now. It's always a great home field advantage. Even better now, the way they enclosed the stadium, the way they redid the seats. The fans are right on top of you. The noise really holds in that stadium. I think Washington wins this game in a shootout, about 49-35. Both teams can score. Both teams have issues on defense. I like Washington here. They're home. They're a little more battle-tested. Arizona hasn't played anyone. I like Washington -8 over Arizona. Let's go to Seattle, where Washington State is playing in Seattle. They are 10-point underdogs to Stanford. I think Stanford is a very, very good team. I mean, they drubbed Arizona State last week. They're a good physical team. I like what I see from Stanford on both sides of the ball. Washington State did have a nice win against USC, but they're not really that good. Washington State has a loss to Auburn. This game is in Seattle, so it's not on the campus of Washington State. It's not in Pullman. They moved this game to Seattle. I think that helps Stanford. I think Stanford is too much for Washington State. Mike Leach does a nice job coaching. I don't think Washington State is ready to beat this Stanford team. Stanford too much. I like Stanford -10 over Washington State in Seattle. Let's go between the hedges in Athens. Down to Georgia we go, where Georgia with one loss is -3 over LSU. LSU undefeated. LSU with a big win last week against Auburn. Georgia looked spotty last week. Remember, Georgia already has a loss to Clemson. I have a feeling we're going to see the best of Georgia this week. I think being at home, they already have a loss. They can't lose another game. I think we're going to see the best of Georgia here. I don't think this is a vintage LSU team. They have a lot of talent, but I don't think this is the best team we've seen with LSU in the last few years. It's only 3. I think Georgia being at home, a little more desperate. Georgia didn't play well last week. I think they're going to rebound. I think we're going to see the best of Georgia between the hedges this week. I like Georgia -3 over LSU. Let's go to South Bend, Indiana, where Oklahoma and their undefeated record are -3.5 at Notre Dame. How many times have you seen Notre Dame at home, an underdog? Very few times. I think the ghosts come out here at Notre Dame. I think all the ghosts come out around the stadium. I like Notre Dame +3.5 against Oklahoma. I don't love this Oklahoma team. They beat West Virginia 16-7, and West Virginia's not any good. West Virginia lost to Maryland 37-0. I don't love this Oklahoma team. They're not battle-tested at all so far this year. Notre Dame is. They've had a couple of close games. They went to Michigan. Notre Dame being at home, getting 3.5 points. I mean, the game could go either way, but when you're getting points with Notre Dame at home, with all those ghosts and the history, I like Notre Dame here. Hard to go against them when you're getting points at home. So I like Notre Dame +3.5 over Oklahoma. Let's go to the Horseshoe in Columbus, where Ohio State is -7.5 over Wisconsin. Ohio State undefeated. Wisconsin had that one horrible loss to Arizona State where the refs messed up that game, really cost Wisconsin that ball game. Ohio State gets their quarterback back this week. They said both their first and second string quarterbacks will play in this game. Second stringer looked really good the last couple of weeks. I don't love Wisconsin. I don't love them on the road. I think Ohio State just has too much talent for them, too much speed. I can't see Wisconsin winning this game. I like Ohio State -7.5 over Wisconsin in the Horseshoe in Columbus. And finally, let's go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where Alabama and their #1 ranking are -17.5 over surprising Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a nice win at Vanderbilt, had an even better win at Texas. Ole Miss and their freshmen very, very improved, have a very good offense. I don't like Ole Miss's defense, though. I think that's what's going to bite them here. Alabama stumbled and bumbled against Colorado State last week. We haven't seen the best of Alabama yet. I have a feeling we might see the best of them this week. I mean, Ole Miss does not have a good defense. They have a lot of freshmen going into Alabama. Hard to ask Ole Miss to actually win this game. Could they hang around? Yeah, possibly, but I'm going with Alabama. Alabama too strong at home. Ole Miss light on defense, a lot of freshmen. I think Alabama takes care of business, so I like them -17 over Ole Miss this week. So let's review. I like Alabama -17.5 over Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa. I like Ohio State in Columbus -7.5 over Wisconsin. I like Notre Dame in South Bend +3.5 against Oklahoma. I like Georgia between the hedges -3 against LSU. I like Stanford -10 against Washington State in Seattle. I like Washington at home -8 over Arizona in newly renovated Husky Stadium. I like Oklahoma State -21 at West Virginia in Morgantown to just beat up a bad West Virginia team. I like Texas A&M -3 over Arkansas in Fayetteville. I think Texas A&M has too much offense there. I like Arizona State home in the desert -6.5 over USC. I like Miami -18 over South Florida in Tampa, and I like Fresno -18 over Hawaii, out in the island of Hawaii. So those are my picks. I picked a lot of games this week. I've been doing well in college football, so those are my picks for this week in college football. Another game I did not pick that you should keep an eye on. South Carolina is -7.5 over Central Florida. Remember, South Carolina lost to Georgia this year. Central Florida undefeated. Central Florida used to play their games at the Citrus Bowl. They now have a new stadium on campus now. Very nice, intimate stadium in Central Florida. This is one of the biggest games in Central Florida history on their home, field now. I mean, this is a very big game for Central Florida. I don't know if they could pull the upset. Worth keeping an eye on, though. South Carolina can get spotty on the road. Like I said, this is one of the biggest games in Central Florida history. They have this newer stadium now on campus. They don't play in the Citrus Bowl anymore. Interesting game to keep an eye on. I didn't pick it. I mean, I think South Carolina is going to win 7.5. Maybe Central Florida hangs around. Might want to check out that game. Could surprise you, that game. So that is where we are with college football. This week's slate of games for college football is much better than last week's. Last week's was absolutely atrocious. All those 70-point scores. I mean, Miami won 77-7 in a shortened game. Much better slate of games this week. So hopefully this will be, the rest of the way we'll have good games in college football, because last week was tough to watch. Okay, you guys are all caught up for today. Tomorrow we're going to do our NFL picks with the spreads, wall-to-wall NFL picks. The first 2 weeks in the NFL I did really good. Last week, not so much. Had a bad week picking games. Hopefully I rebound tomorrow. So we're going to pick each and every game tomorrow, starting with the big Thursday game, San Francisco at St. Louis. San Francisco, they got to pick up their game, so we'll keep an eye on that. Tonight is a baseball night. We're coming down the home stretch in baseball. Want to keep an eye on Tampa Bay. Want to keep an eye on Cleveland. Want to keep an eye on Texas. Also, those races for best record, for the division, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, all battling it out. So baseball coming to a close in the next few days, so keep an eye on it tonight. It is a baseball night. Tomorrow, wall-to-wall NFL picks. Friday, we'll review the Thursday night game. Okay, you guys are all caught up. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the baseball tonight. I will talk to you tomorrow. Thursday, NFL picks coming up. Can't wait. You guys have a great day. Talk to you Thursday. Take care.